Hello, I believe we're live. Let me just find the right window to be in. Hold on. There we go. Maddie, stop that. Noisy. Get my chat. Here we go. Pinned chat. I don't even know what that is. Go away. YouTube is full of pop-ups today. Somebody answer in chat and tell us, can you hear us? Can you chat with us? Live chat. There we go. All messages are visible. Lisa's here. Lisa can see us. Excellent. Okay, we'll just give it a few minutes while everybody gets here and gets sorted. Carrie's having some audio issues. Vicky's running late. Mimi is on her way, I believe. Me and Meg are here.
How you doing? How's your day been?
Oh, so far, for me, technical issues all day. All day yesterday, all day today. It's just been a never-ending whoosh of technical issues. How about you?
Yeah, just a busy day at work, really. So.
Yeah, lots of people joining us. Hi, Laura, Mika, John, Kristen. Carrie's trying to get her AirPods to work. She's going to use her laptop. We're going to have screaming kids in the background. These things happen. Irene, hi. Katie. Hello, hello. So if this is something new for us this year, we thought we'd do a live chat. It's only ever been me has done live before, but you know, last year's dumpster fire meant that everybody learnt to use Zoom. So here we are. Hi, Crystal, Kelly, Rachel. How is, actually, while we're waiting for everybody else to get here, why don't we get Meg to tell us about her other thing that she does in July? Because you run Junk Journal July, don't you?
I do, yes. I'm a bit of a kind of rogue amongst the group, really, because I don't have a planning system to speak of at all. But ask me about journaling, and I'm your girl. So, yeah, I'm doing Junk Journal July this year, which is a month-long low pressure challenge where every day there's a different prompt to sort of spark inspiration for you to create in your junk journal. You can take the prompts however you want, do whichever ones you want, swap them around. It's just something to kind of, you know, get you going with junk journaling or even any kind of creative endeavor, really.
Awesome. And where can people find the prompts?
The prompts are on my Instagram and I'm at Meg Journals. And then I'm also on YouTube at Meg.
Awesome. So, we've got a couple of people need to be moderators. There we go. There's one, and there's another. And let's have three just in case, because I don't know. You never know who's going to turn up on one of these things. So, Lisa, John, and Mika, you're now moderators. Just in case we get anybody spamming with crazy links or anything like that. There's always the weirdos, and I seem to attract them, so you never know. What is going on with Carrie? Carrie is on her way. Oh, anyway. So thanks for that, Meg. Meg's going to be addressing kind of creative habits and routines and how to... Nice to see you. You can turn on your mic if you want to and say hello. Oh, here's Katie as well. There's my other mod.
Oh, there we go. I was having audio problems with these little things, so I took it out.
Oh, AirPods. Carrie's having the same problem.
Mm.
Yeah, she can't get hers to work either. I don't know what's going on with that. Might be worth asking Zoom. So, you haven't missed anything. Carrie's still trying to get in. Vicky's running a little bit late. Meg's just been telling us about One Book July and how she's going to be fitting in sort of creative routines and things. What are you focusing on this year, Mimi?
Habit tracking, mostly. Yes.
Habit tracking. Oh,
Yes.
finding Carrie's nemesis, the tracker.
Mhm.
Ah, so you're doing digital and paper this year.
Yeah, I'm doing both.
Cool.
Yeah.
Carrie's made it. Is your mic working now and everything?
We're going to try to use the one on the laptop. So
Okay.
if there's background noise,
Mimi had trouble with her AirPods as well. So it might not be you. It might be a Zoom AirPod thing. We don't know.
And they're brand new, like 2 days old.
I don't have any. I have proper headphones and they work great.
And that's the thing. I got the new laptop and I had other like earbuds for my old laptop. There's not a jack on this laptop for the earbuds that I have. So I went to the boys. I'm like, give me earbuds. And I have earbuds that'll plug into this laptop.
proper Bluetooth.
Yes, like good ones.
Skull candy, man. Skull candy. You cannot not do better than skull candy.
That's what I should do. I'm irritated.
So, this is unlike anything I've ever done before. I have not done one of these like live Q&A things with lots of people before, but I do these kind of chats on Zoom, but I'm used to being the only one talking, so that could be fun. Meg's told us a little bit about her Junk Journal July. Mimi's just been sharing about habit tracking specifically. Carrie, what are you doing this year?
We're doing the read along of Atomic Habits by James Clear, and then I'm just staying in one book, one pen for the month. I'm changing the cover like every day, but other than that, so and the read along is going well so far. I really like it.
Not even that. I've been in my sketchbook mostly my sketchbook, not my journal. I'm trying to get back into journaling. I've actually decided to get back into it this week. I might try with the Junk Journal July for a little bit, or at least do the prompts. But I've got so much else going on. It's kind of hard to fit things. You have some ideas for us, because I struggle, even as somebody who is creative as my work, I struggle to fit creative stuff just for me in. So hopefully you'll have some tips for us, because I can't do it. Have we got any questions in chat? We've had a few questions come through that people have sent through. I have them here on my trusty thingy. Actually, this is quite a good one to do while we wait for... Oh, I think we've lost Mimi. This is quite a good one to do for just a general one while we actually wait for, well, Mimi to get back and Vicky to join us. Sorry if you can hear weird noises in the background. Maddie's very stressed because we're having weird weather. It's apocalyptic and biblical out there at the moment. Is weird.
Sorry, I'm here, but I didn't want all the background noise. So it's like if I pop off, it's because I have a
that's fine. You can mute your mic if you want to. I rarely mute mine unless somebody else is talking, so mine will be on and you'll just get crazy dog noises in the background. So somebody asked, because we've all put our questions into one pot, we haven't got names. Because at least two of us, me and Carrie, forgot to write down the names of who wrote the questions. So we're just going to say the questions. That way nobody feels left out. Okay. So the question I had was, maybe you can answer this. In addition to One Book July and December dailies, are there themes or challenges for other months? The only one I'm aware of is the Hobonichi challenge from Pencil something. Oh, what's her name? Completely gone out of my head. Who does the Hobonichi challenge? Somebody will know. I don't know. If you go on Instagram and you look up Hobonichi challenge, it comes up there. Oh, we've got a question for you, Meg. Here we go. Can you do Junk Journal July in your normal journal? And if you want to fill us in on the other months that you do Junk Journal July that aren't July, you know what I mean. Over to you.
Yeah, totally. You can do it in your own journal. Nothing's stopping you. The prompts aren't like restricted to junk journaling. They're quite open-ended. So you can definitely interpret them however you'd like. And what Ro was saying about the other months. So initially this started off as Junk Journal January back in 2019. And the response from that was, oh, can we do it in February? I was like, guys, we've just had Junk Journal June or Junk Journal July, has a bit of a ring to it. Let's make it like a twice yearly thing. And I think that's a bit more manageable as well. I think doing it every single month would be quite full on. I don't know if you guys follow any kind of challenges monthly, or do you just do this one book July?
I'm actually halfway through a 365 sketch challenge, which I've just taken my second week off since the beginning. Since I started 1st of March, I took a week off at the end of April because I was feeling burnt out, and I took another week off last week because I was on holiday last week. I've come back this week. I've had a lot to do. So the last 7 days I haven't been doing any either. Other than that, I kind of dip in and out. Sometimes I'll pick a prompt list and I'll use those as my sketch prompts. Sometimes I'll do Junk Journal July properly. Sometimes I do Junk Journal January. Last year, I used the prompts as sketch prompts actually in my own journal. So I didn't even do them as Junk Journal or journal prompts. I just did them as sketch challenges. But honestly, the thing about being full on with challenges, as in terms of tracking it and what day I'm on and trying to work out what today's date is and what number out of 365 I'm on, that I'm struggling with. So, but yeah, monthly challenges, I can take them or leave them. I like doing the Halloween ones. I usually do several Halloween ones, but other than that, not really. What about Carrie?
I really don't. I did for a while. I did a lot of Instagram photo challenges for a while, but then life. So it's like I would get through the first 9, 10, 11 days. 11 seems to be about my sweet spot. And then something would happen on day 12 and then it'd be day 23 and it'd be like, oh, oops, I didn't finish that. And when I don't finish things, it bothers me. So I backed off the challenges because I was creating stress for myself with them. It was supposed to be fun. It wasn't supposed to be stressful. So I do kind of like you do. I'll look at, so look at all the pretty photos in this challenge. And I might, pull one here and there, but I never, ever, 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 ever finish a month. I just don't. There's too much out there to keep up with.
Yes, exactly. That's what I felt with it, with monthly challenges. Except for One Book July, because it's not really a 31 days challenge. It's just something you do for the 1 month and then you ditch it, or you keep it, or you learn from it, or whatever. It's not really a challenge as such. But daily challenges, oof. I can't even keep up with Junk Journal July, and I really enjoy that one. So I've got no hope. But interestingly, what I've found is the 365 one, and this links into routines and habits. For me, doing something for 30 days or 31 days, if I get more than 2 days behind, I'm like, oh, well, that's it. I might as well give up now. I have dietitis when it comes to challenges. And like, if I fall off the wagon for 2 days, I'm like, well, that's it. I'm never going to do it again, am I? So I just give up. But with 365 days, if I get like up to a week behind, I'm like, it's no bother. It's only 7 days out of an entire year. I can catch up, and I just squeeze in small pictures here and there. So it's actually working really well. Question from the floor. Laura would love to hear from Carrie about how to maximize the space in a pocket when coming down from larger sizes.
Ever since I posted my video for One Book July, I've gotten this question in a lot of places. I didn't
Spoiler alert, her answer is get a really small one and stuff it as full as you possibly can.
Okay, I feel very seen now. I'm sitting on the bed and I have a pillow behind me. This is so tacky and I apologize, but it's the only way it's going to work today. So I don't do anything different in this size as far as the information that goes in it than I do in any other size or any other format, no matter what size it is, or if it's got rings, or if it's got strings, or if it's bound or whatever. I don't do discs. Discs don't like me and I don't like them. So, but I've probably used everything else that's out there, and it's always, 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 always the same information goes into it. So that was my thing, is I had to figure out what worked for my brain and what my brain does and doesn't like. And then it came down to just the, like, what kind of paper do I like to write on, and what I have to make that part of it enjoyable, because it is small. And I did pull some inserts out of this because it was chunkier than this. And I pulled out my pocket, my plastic pocket thing. You have to make it comfortable, because if you do stuff it too full, it's a brick, and it's very hard to write in the front or the back. When you have a brick, kind of, you can rest your elbow on to write. So that's a thing. Get it so it's comfortable. The stuff you write on the most, like for me, it's my daily kind of rapid log and my weekly, those go in the middle, because if those are in the center of the other inserts, when I open this, it's easier to write in the center than it is in the front or the back. So the stuff that I'm not writing in all day, every day, always goes in the middle. It's always the same stuff, no matter what planner it is. I always put the stuff I use the most in the center. So as far as comfort goes, that's my thing. Information is always the same. I'll just go through inserts faster in this than I will like a standard, you know, a standard TN with a 160 page insert. That'll last me forever. You know, in here, I might go through a field notes in maybe 2 months. I've been using my weekly a lot. I haven't been using the dailies. It's been too chaotic here. So it's been just chuck it in the purse and go. So that would be my big thing, is make it comfortable. If it's too big of a brick, it's not going to be comfortable unless you like taking your inserts out and writing in them, which I don't like to do. I like to stick stuff in there and leave it alone. So make sure it's not super thick, and make sure that the stuff you write on the most is in the center. That's my biggie. And then no matter what, like if you can find a system that your brain likes, the other nitpicky little stuff will start to feel nitpicky. It won't bother you as much.
I'd also like to add, as someone who also uses A6 size, it does help if you have minuscule writing like me and Kerry and use a 0.38 pen.
True. That's true. Yes.
Can I throw that question over to Meg as well before we move on to Mimi's question? Because Meg specifically does her Junk Journal January and Junk Journal July in an A6. And I think for people who want to be creative, we tend to think you've got to have a big journal, you've got to have a A5 is the standard, you know, B6 or whatever. But Meg and I both use tiny journals, and I think it'd be worth speaking about creativity in a small space as well.
Yeah, I find the smaller size less overwhelming, especially with a challenge like Junk Journal July, a smaller space to work on. You know, you feel like you have to do less almost. And then I just find, I mean, it's portable, not that that's really mattered over the past year. And it's also just, you get through it quicker. So it feels less daunting of a size to use. And it's just one that I've found that I liked. I've tried A5, B6, standard traveler's notebooks. Like I've been through them all. And yeah, you're holding up your little, like, it's just the perfect size. It fits in my hands and I just love it so much. And I don't think I would want to go any bigger than this really. It's just perfect for what I like. And I did have a question the other day. Someone asked, you know, is A6 too limiting for me starting junk journaling? And I think it's actually a great place to start off small and not be too overwhelmed by all the space and having to fill everything out. I think it's a great place to start actually, if you've not done it before. But yeah, it's all about working out what you like. So trying out different sizes, and you'll tend to fall into, you know, one of however many different sizes that there are these days.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with what Meg's saying there, because for my 365, I've been using my little journal. It's a baby, it's just a field note size. So it's not even a full A6. This picture here it's 6 inches by 3 inches. Now, even on an A5 page, because that size is not A5. Sorry, I'm trying not to block my face, but not doing very well. That is not A5. Because it's field notes. So it's like, I think it's B6. Is it that? I think that's B6. Anyway, it's small. And the thing is, you can do a single picture. This is approximately 2 inches by 1.5 inches. And look, it fills up most of the page. And I don't feel guilty leaving the rest of the page blank. If I do, you know, a bit of washi tape at the top and bottom, boom, done. There's nothing wrong with wasting space and a little, there's nothing wrong with wasting space at all. There's no shortage of paper in the world. Please recycle. However, on an A5 page to draw something that small, I'd feel really guilty. And I'd then feel the pressure to fill it up or draw bigger or do something more. And the more you do, the more time it takes. So then you get into, oh, but I don't have time to do that. And it becomes daunting. I literally drew this in about 5 minutes last night, straight in with marker, boom, because I was eating a cherry bakewell and I couldn't decide if I liked it. So I drew it, you know, and that was my sketch challenge done for the day. I'd done something purely for me, just for fun. So yeah, I think especially if you're just starting out or trying something new, a small book is a really good idea. And Burgess brought up a good point. Burgess with the massive handwriting, like seriously huge. Carrie and I could both fit most of an essay into just one area of her planner. But A6 or field notes is a really good size just for making one note on a page that you can come back to and add notes on, or making one journal entry and adding a photo, and boom, you're done. So yeah, small is good. Small is awesome. So Mimi's got a question. Let me find it. What digital apps will you be using to keep track of habits and routines this month? Are you trying anything new?
I am not trying something new, but it's something I haven't used in a long time. And I've always had it on my phone, and it's called Habitbull. And this is my old phone, but I believe it's iOS and Android, because I use Android. And I kind of explained this in my intro video, but Habitbull is really great because you can put in habits and run them on any kind of schedule that you want, either daily, weekly, monthly, 2 times a week, 3 times a month, however you want to set it up. And it keeps all the data for you. And I'm like a data geek, and I like to keep all of that information. So I love this app, and that's what I've been using for just like daily stuff, not weekly or monthly, but just the daily.
I'll be sending people toward your video when we get to the part of the book that's about trackers and whatnot, because every paper tracker I have ever used has always turned into like an Alistair method list or a line graph, because I too am a data geek and I'll take a good graph any day. So they always, it's grid paper, let's make a graph with the data. So, and that's the other reason I can stay in something small, is all my project planning is digital. All of my, the big lists, like stuff we have to do at the house. And I don't need to carry that to the grocery store with me. And if something happened to it, I'd be really upset. So it's better off living in the cloud. So I don't keep a lot of that stuff in here except for real bare bones. But trackers is hard. You can get tracker inserts this size. They work great. It's fine. But like Romany said, I have a love-hate relationship with trackers. So I'm going to go that route when we get to that part of the book. So I'll be linking to your video when we get there.
Yeah, this app is really good because even when you set up your habits, you can set it up to where you answer like yes or no, which means did you do it or not? Or you can do it like, okay, I did 50%. I love this app. It's really great. And I only set up my daily, but I was thinking of actually moving my weekly and monthly in here also, because you know how it goes. This morning, I'm sitting there thinking, I think I want to move back into my other book. And if I do that, I'm going to lose out on my paper tracker that I use for my weekly and monthly stuff. But yeah, I highly recommend Habitbull, and it's free.
Well, I'll get the link for that from Mimi and put it in the description down below after the video finishes posting. Now, because this is live, it won't actually allow me to edit anything until about an hour and a half after it's finished. So you'll have to wait for that. But maybe if somebody can put the link in the live chat or something, if one of the mods can find it, that would be awesome. Mika probably has already found it and got a link for it. I know what she's like. I'm going a slightly different route with logging because Carrie has a love-hate relationship with trackers. I have a hate-hate relationship with trackers. I hate them and they hate me. One of the questions that we had was, well, amongst others, how many trackers is too many? One. Do your old trackers need to be archived? No, because I never filled them out. And how can I better remind myself to use my tracker? Well, answers on a postcard, please, because me and Carrie would both like to know. I put it in the back of my planner and I forget it's there. Yeah, even if it's right slap bang on the first page of my planner between today's pages, I will still forget it's there. So don't ask me on that one. I'm going to take a different approach and use a time logger instead. I'm going to look at the app that Mimi's talking about, because that seems more of a habit tracker. This one is called A Time Logger, all one word, A Time Logger Personal Tracker. It is $4.99 on iOS, and I don't know if it's available on Android. I found this from Monkey Minimata, which is an art vlogger on YouTube. And you don't set up habits so much as you log the amount of time on the habit. So you would set up categories like how much time food prepping, meals, etc., sleep, exercise, personal art, teaching, walking the dog, you know, whatever it is that you want to track. And then you log in and you log out, and that's it. You start it and you stop it, and you don't have to do anything else. So provided you get to the point where you're actually going to do the thing, all you have to then remember to do is, oh, I'm going to do the thing, start my phone. Oh, right, that's it. I've finished the thing, stop the phone. I think that will work better for me, because it means that because I'm starting and stopping my phone when I do it, I'm more likely to remember to do it. I'm more likely to remember to track it. And overall, instead of going, I did that yesterday, I did that yesterday, I did that yesterday, it actually gives me quality rather than quantity. I don't need to know if I did any teaching today. I need to know how much time I spent prepping and setting up and teaching and finishing, and, you know, because a 2-hour teaching session is not 2 hours. So for me, time logging is going to be more beneficial, I think, because that then means I can time block. Maybe. I really don't know, but I'm going to try it. So, Meg, you don't do any of this, do you? Do you ever keep track of what creativity you've done, or do you simply rely on your dates in your journal that you've done stuff?
No, I don't. And I don't always date my stuff either. I have been for July, so I know like which prompt it goes with, but unless it's something I'm documenting, like I don't care about the date really. I think for me that just kind of keeps the pressure off. It's not like, oh my goodness, I'm like 3 days behind or whatever. But no, I don't track anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I got to. I've actually, up until I decided to just try it for July, just in case it works out better, I've never really been into tracking or routines or schedules or anything. That the control freak in me is like, no. As soon as I'm living to a timetable, I'm no longer in control. The timetable is in control. I'm like, no, absolutely not. The nearest I've ever got to anything like that is using, I have to remember how to say it. Hang on, I have to write the letters down to be able to do it, because I can't say it on YouTube. UFYH. It used to be a big Tumblr blog. It's now an app. Your Habitat. I'll leave it up to you to work out what the F stands for, but that's how you find it. And it's basically, it's got cleaning routines and stuff, but I also found it quite useful for reminding me to do things that would only take me 10 or 15 minutes. And rather than actually tracking it, I would literally just write down things that I needed to do that were only going to take 5 minutes, but I couldn't get up from what I was doing now to go and do it. And I would put it in the 2 minute or the 5 minute or the 1 hour or whatever, and I would throw it in there. And at some point I'd go, all right, I've got a spare hour before class, what shall I do? and I'd pick 3 20-minute tasks or 1 hour task, and I'd go off. And the advantage of it was that it had a timer on it. So 5 minutes before, you could always say, okay, set the alarm for 5 minutes before the end. And then you also knew that you had to stop and go and do something else straight away. So I found that really useful. And yes, it does use the 20-10 system, which is really useful. So you do 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. It's a lot easier to do stuff if you're only doing it for 20 minutes. Did we have another question there, or did I miss something, or was somebody gonna, or was that just me getting sidetracked? I never know. Let's have a look at chat. It's not a huge amount of chat, which is good, because it's always hard to keep up with chat, but washi is an easy way to bring some pizzazz to a page. Use it in my bullet journal on daily pages. Yeah. Blank bit of space, stick a bit of washi in it, that'll do. You don't even have to have a glue stick. It's great. Can never stick with a habit tracker for a full month, but weekly tracking fits you. Oh, that's interesting. I've never managed to stick with a weekly tracker. I've printed plenty off, but I've never actually used one. I'm balking at the idea. Oh, that's what I was talking about. I'm balking at the idea this year of trying to condense my work stuff into master lists, so that I can sit down and go, okay, today I need to sort out the calendar for the next 3 months. And then another time, sit down and go, okay, today I need to set up all of the Zoom meetings for the next week, or I have to set up all the YouTube links for next week or whatever. And I'm even balking at that. I don't want to. That's the problem. And I think if you don't want to have a routine or a tracker or anything like that, it's really hard to actually persuade yourself that you need it. Maybe I need to read Carrie's read along. You like graph paper, works visually for you, but you're not a digital person. Now, I'd rather do digital, actually. It's so much quicker for me to pick up my phone and do it than it is. And in fact, I've started writing my master lists on Google Keep, because I can tick them off and then I can untick them and start them again next time, and set a reminder for when I need to start them. So that might work. Incidentally, Katie's my admin. Katie and I do all of our organization and stuff. Anything she needs to pass to me, anything I need to pass to her, we do it all on Google Keep. It's so much quicker and easier than any other to-do app I've ever come across. Plus you can send each other stupid GIFs as well, which is always useful. Struggling with wanting an app that does it all. Yeah, good luck with that. There is no perfect app. Every app, there's always somebody who's in charge of the app who went, no, we don't need that. And it's the one thing you're looking for. Trying TikTok because it's a task manager and habit tracker in one. Oh, Tick. I was going to say TikTok. No, you go on TikTok, you lose 40 hours of your life. Then you go on one Tuesday afternoon and the next thing you know, it's Friday morning. No, TikTok is not a good way of organizing your life. Trust me. Tick is a task manager and habit tracker, but you're drawn to doing it in your bullet journal. I think that's a lot of us. Either you want to do it digitally, like I'm a digital girl, I love digital, but I also love paper. It's hard to push myself away from my phone to do it on paper. But the idea of doing it on paper and having all these pretty trackers really appeals to me. I'm sure Carrie can attest to that feeling, because we're paper girls as well. We like both. And, you know, if the obvious answer is, well, do both then, is coming to you. If you can't do one, you've got no hope of doing both. Trust me. You intend to complete them and then do okay for a week. Yeah, I don't even get that far. Archiving old trackers, no, because they're never filled in. Oh, that's me, yeah. Yeah, not filling in a habit tracker is one of my better habits. I can do it, no problem. There's the time logger one that I was talking about. Thanks, Katie. And Mika found the habit bowl that Mimi was talking about. You have to track some things for your doctor. Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people look at routines and tracking, is when you have to track things. I have certain medical things that I have to track. And honestly, the only reason I do it or I manage to do it is because my doctor has an app. My doctor's surgery has an app where you can just log in and because I order repeat prescriptions, and it's just an additional thing that they've got, you tick what it was. Oh, I had a migraine, it lasted 2 hours, and that's it. Last year when we had everything shut down, you started tracking in DIY fish inserts. DIY fish is still around. We love DIY fish. The weekly, monthly and daily tasks. Crikey, that's a lot, John. Even if they were small as scoop the litter or walk the dog, do the dishes, it made you feel like you'd accomplished something. That reminds me, I always talk about Eveline and her to-do lists, because if you feel like you don't get enough done and you're not productive, to-do lists are great. She never writes down what she has to do unless it's something that must be done today. And other than that, all she writes down is what she's already done. So it's a ta-da, done that. So it's a to-do list instead of a to-do list, which is actually a tracker of sorts. But again, I would never bother to fill it in. Question, here we go. Let's throw this one at Mimi, because Mimi does digital and paper, so she actually does have separate things. Do you have separate pages for trackers, or do you incorporate them, include them with your daily?
Separate. This is everything all on one page for the whole month. Daily, weekly, and monthly things that I want to get done. So it's all right here. So when I look at it, I can see what I still need to do for the week that I haven't done yet. And when I mark off each day, what's getting done, and my projects for the month here. So it's all here. I don't put it on my dailies. I used to do a weekly tracker in my weekly spread, but I stopped doing that because it was kind of redundant. But all in one spot.
See, I'm looking at that and thinking, now if that was stuck on the wall right in front of my face, I might actually do something with it. Yeah. But then I remember that I have a whiteboard stuck on the wall right in front of my face, and that doesn't get filled in either. It's been blank since December. So no, apparently not.
And I have it with my monthly calendar right here. So when I look at my monthly calendar, I'm looking at everything all at one time.
Cool. That's an interesting way of doing it. Gifting is the best. Yeah. Me and Katie have entire conversations in GIFs. It's fantastic. TikTok is a massive time hole for time and productivity. I don't even understand it, honestly. I've reached that age where I've become old. And I know I've become old because I don't understand the contraptions the kids are doing. I do understand it. I just don't like TikTok. I think it's very, well, think of an ist, and it's that. It's anti everything, and I don't like it. I don't like the attitude of the people on it. However, Instagram Reels, if I could figure out how they work, I might actually like them. But I can't seem to get them to work. You use Instagram Reels, don't you, Meg?
I do, yeah.
That's kind of a way of tracking your creativity in a different way than a habit tracker.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not that au fait with it, I must admit.
You do post regularly on Instagram though as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So we are tracking our creativity because we share it regularly on Instagram.
Yes, yeah. Although I guess I don't share everything. But that's like a whole different topic.
Yeah. I don't share everything, but it's not based on whether it's good or bad. It's based on whether I remember to post it or not. Again, same issue. If you could just download all Mimi's practices, you'd have organized bliss. I don't know how she manages it. She has it all in one place, all together, and she can track. She can find everything 6 ways from Sunday, and she does paper and digital at the same time. I'm struggling to use a Post-it note. People keep telling you to do more TikToks, but who has the time, right? It's like 30 seconds. I mean, it takes me to do a 20-minute YouTube video, takes me about 5 hours. So to do a 1 minute TikTok, that's 5 hours divided by 20, which is still way too much time for a 1 minute video.
And it will take longer than you think.
And it will actually take
You
longer
see,
than
like
that.
30-second really good reels, and it the editing, it's so clunky, it takes so long.
The only way I would ever actually manage to do a 30-second reel on Instagram, I've done one once, and all I did was record it for 30 seconds. I was like, why don't I just do this in stories? It'd be so much easier. I wouldn't have to edit it. It is TikTok for Instagram. Apparently there's a big hoo-ha because somebody on Instagram said they're trying to be the next TikTok, and we're like, you know, half the people on Instagram are like, oh no, what's going to happen to the artists? And the rest of us are going, yeah, you said that about Snapchat 2 years ago. You said that about Vine before that as well. Not really happening, is it? Oh, anyway, any more questions from the floor, or shall I take one from the vat? What have we got down here? Let's have a look at the beginning of the list. Oh, the most obvious question. What is the point of habit tracking? I have no idea. Next. I sound like I'm being facetious, but honestly, I don't understand the point of habit tracking.
I can answer that for me.
I get if you have like there's people like in my classes who've got ADHD, and if they don't track things or they don't write things down the second they think of them, they would never get anything done. And I get that. But if you don't have the issue, if you can go, oh, I need to do the dishes later, and at some point later you remember to do the dishes, then why do you need to track it? You know, that I don't understand it. I'm literally only keeping track of my 365 so that I know I've done 365, so that, because, you know, I've slept since yesterday. I have no idea if I drew anything yesterday. Well, I do now because I pulled out my book. But if I hadn't pulled out my book and you asked me today, what did you draw yesterday? I'd go, Scooby-Doo noises, because I've slept since then. I haven't got a clue. I have CRS syndrome. Can't remember. So if I don't write it down, I don't know. So I have to know what number I'm on and what day I'm on and when I last did one, so I know if I missed one, and then go to Instagram and see how many days I haven't posted for, because I forgot to do that as well, you know. Oh, here's one for you, Carrie. Oh, sorry, Mimi, were you going to say something there? You've got your mic on.
Oh, no, well, I was just going to say, as far as the habit trackers and the point, I think it depends on kind of what's going on in your life in general also, because I explained the reason why I put a lot of mundane things on my habit trackers is because when things are extremely overwhelming, if I can mark things off on something showing that I did get things accomplished, it makes me feel a whole lot better. So, and just feeling like I actually did get things done today, because there's so much other stuff, and this has been, you know, it's been a crazy year. And so you're feeling overwhelmed. It's like, okay, I did the dishes. Hooray for me. So that's kind of my take on it. So, but I always try to incorporate at least one thing, usually two, of things that I'm trying to build a habit of doing on top of everything else. So that's kind of just the way that I put together my daily stuff.
So you're kind of combining habit tracking and staying on top of things with a to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got something to show for having sat around all day doing nothing. And actually, you know, you've ticked off 6 things out of 12 on your to-do list. So you have done something.
Right.
That's interesting. What about you, Meg? Because you don't track anything. So why don't you track anything? What is it that makes you go, nah, can't be bothered?
I don't think I have anything to track. Like, I don't have any little ones running around, so I only need to think of myself. I'm so schedule based with work that when I'm not at work, like, I just want to do whatever I want. And yeah, it's probably just me being me, and just things get done when they get done.
Right. So you're basically like me then, but I've got the added thing of my work is not set by somebody else. I have to do it myself. So I do have to schedule my work and track things.
Yeah, like
but purely in the sense of, did I remember to do that yesterday? And do I need to do it today?
yeah, like I've got a work planner. I've got a work planner. So obviously, like, you know, people are telling me you need to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, right, need to tick those off. So whether it's once I step back from that, I'm like, phew, I actually want to do whatever I want now. If the dishes get done today,
if the dishes get done tomorrow, then the dishes get done tomorrow.
Exactly.
And if I need a clean dish and there's no clean dishes, guess what? I'll just wash up one. Exactly. I'm exactly the same, Meg. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Life's too short.
Exactly. And when you look at it, the amount of time that I spend, especially, I don't know if it's just because I'm dyslexic or if it's just a general thing, the amount of time I spend checking and double checking trackers to make sure I filled them in. I look at that and I think, that was 7 minutes of my life. I could have done a sketch in that time. I could have gone and made a coffee and washed up some dishes while the kettle boiled. Hang on a second, I've got an incoming phone call. Somebody else take over.
Part of what Romany was just saying about the time that it takes to check, you know, your trackers, that's why I really like how Mimi has hers set up, because it's like a monthly dashboard of one side is my whole month, you know, on one page, appointments and scheduled things that, you know, we'd probably all put on a monthly calendar. But then the other side is that, you know, if I don't do this thing, you know, for a couple of days, how badly is it going to pile? Because like around here, if I don't do something for a couple of days, and it could be the most mundane, dumb thing that I don't want to do, but if I don't do it or delegate it to somebody else in this house, like everything will fall apart. Because like dishes get done 4 times a day and we don't have a dishwasher.
That's your problem. That's your fault for living in a house full of boys.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So a lot of people will go, well, why do you have, you know, when I do write down stuff like, hey, wash the towels. I know I need to wash the stupid towels. I don't want to. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I do it either. They have to be washed. So I have to delegate it to someone if I'm not going to do it. One of these other people has to do it. But then if I've put it in a tracker, like, okay, I got really behind on that. And that's where I'll slap a tracker in, where if I notice I'm dipping on the things that I just normally do on autopilot, that's when I'll go, okay, I need to get back on track. I need to, even if it's just one thing, and I'll put a reminder on my phone so that it goes off on my watch at the same time every single day. This has really been a life changer for me for staying on top of stuff, is because it'll poke me.
I don't have the watch, but I tell you, I've currently got about 15 alarms on my phone, and they all go different things at different times a day.
Exactly. So it's like I get reminded constantly, and I've gotten better about not just ignoring it, because the phone goes off all the time. But if I let one of those things go that would be like a to-do list type of thing, pretty soon it's like, well, 7 people need to shower and there aren't any clean towels. Oops. That doesn't end well. So that's where I kind of like Mimi's, like it's a dashboard and I can see everything all at once, because that I can see it not taking me 7 to 10 minutes, because I don't fill it in every day, right? So then I'm like, okay, it's Friday. Did I do the towels on Monday? Did I do the towels on Tuesday? Did I do it's like, and it'll bug me if I don't sit there and run through each thing for each day. So I like the idea of having it all together, monthly, weekly, daily, boom, boom, boom. I can see my brain liking that a lot more, for sure.
See, I think what you really need is a chore tracker.
Yes.
On the fridge.
Yes.
Bribe them with money if you have to.
We do have like a digital version of that. Like, This is yours this week. This is yours this week. This is yours this week. You're driving so-and-so there. Like, that's as much as I can get where we can sync everything together, which is why technology is so great, because they don't all get into this. Liam does, but he's still little. Like the older kids, I put a Post-it in my book. I'll tell the kids, oh, we need that, this, that, or the other. Put a Post-it in my book. Some of the boys have gotten old enough where to them getting in my book is like getting in my purse, and to them it doesn't feel like a proper thing to do, which I'm glad that they're respectful, but I'm like, you can put a Post-it
on the front.
Yes, I'm like, just put it, because otherwise whatever it is you want isn't going to get done. So now
on my chair, I don't care. Just put it somewhere I'm going to see it.
Back door, because we leave it, put it on the fridge handle. I'll see it, like put it. So that's where technology is handy, because we can sync those things. So stuff like, oh, I'm out of this, I need it from the grocery store. Put it in the grocery list. just, and then I don't have to do all the checking with everybody. Did this, that, and the other get done?
Yeah. Wrong button. Question from Crystal. What would you recommend for budgeting planning? It's something that I keep trying to find different ways that it keeps epically failing. I don't know. I don't track budgeting because I don't really have a budget, because self-employed, my income is kind of like that. I don't have a definite amount. What I do have is my Patreon payment comes in every month, and that immediately goes out on all my bills. All my bills go out between the 1st and the 6th of the month. So after the 6th of the month, apart from one payment that goes out on the 20th, everything else for the rest of the month is mine. And that's basically how I do it. I don't spend any money until the 7th. Today is grocery day. I make sure I've got something available at the end of the month to top up any bits and pieces that I might need, and then I don't spend money for the first week of the month, because all of that goes out on bills. And then once all that's gone out, the rest of it's mine. So again, I'm in an easier position, I think, because like Meg, I don't have any dependents. All I have to do is remember to buy dog food once a month. And guess what? Amazon tracks that for me. I just have it on subscribe and save, and on every 8th of the month or 6th of the month, depending on what month it is, Amazon turns up and goes, here's your dog food. And I'm like, great, I'd forgotten about that. Timesheets, the enemy of creatives. Oh, timesheets.
You know, I have to say it's not really tracking so much, but the budget question real quick, Shay Budgets has a really good PDF, and I think it's a free download. I don't want to grab the phone and be rude. If you look up Shay Budgets, SHAY Budgets on Instagram, she has a PDF, and that's where I learned to do like the zero balance budgeting. So it's like, okay, what's coming in every month? And for that, we pretty much know, like, if Mike's got clinic hours, it's like what you have, Ro, where it's like this. It's like some months it's higher than others. So I just work from the minimum. Like, what is the minimum that I know will be coming in this month? And then it all goes somewhere. It all, here's utilities fluctuate. Don't get me wrong. Like now it's 100 degrees here, so the electric bill is dumb. But so that stuff goes up and down. So I budget as best I can, but everything has a home somewhere. And she has a great PDF that you can fill out that walks you through that, because I had a hard time with that. I'm like, zero budget. Like, I want to save at the end of the month. What do you mean? Well, yeah, if you have anything left over, you budget it to go into the savings. So that's where it's not necessarily a tracker, but I fill that thing out religiously every single month since she put that out. So Shay Budgets on Instagram, but tracking, I don't do a whole lot except for like in a spreadsheet, I put in what was the actual amount of the electric bill and the blah, 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 and what was the actual income. Like I do that for the whole year, but it's not really a tracker. It's a big old spreadsheet.
Yeah, I had a similar paper spreadsheet from Peanuts Planner Co. Again, I think that's a free one. I think you have to be in her Facebook group to get it, but it's a free planner. And it's basically just a big sheet that you fold up, and you walk through every month what you've paid and what you haven't paid, what you thought you were going to have to pay, what you actually paid, what the difference was, and how much is left at the end. And I did find that really useful up to the point where I realized that actually everything got paid by the 7th except for £20. So all I've got to do is make sure I've got £20 in my account on the 20th. And that's nice and easy to remember, because 2020, right? Who could forget that? So I just make sure I've got 20 quid in my account on that day, and the rest of the time I just don't spend money the first week of the month. But yeah, that Peanuts Planner Co sheet was actually really useful when I was thinking that I needed to stay on top of what I pay and when. Where did that? Oh. You don't have the watch either, but you have a Fitbit with lots of alarms on your phone. Yes, same. Budget planning, Huffington Post, a long time ago, 18 things highly creative people do differently. December 2017. Lose track is one of the 18. Yeah, probably number one, because I would have looked at that list, read the first one and gone, yeah, I don't want to read this. That's like those BuzzFeed articles, 12 things highly successful people do. Get up at 4:30 a.m. I'm like, dude, I've just gone to bed. What are you talking about? Oh, Budget Mom has some great budgeting tools. Thank you, Irene. That's useful. I only track for work stuff. Tracking all the things I do for handmade business helps me schedule things out better and streamline your process. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do, is streamline my process. And yes, seeing where you get peaks and troughs. Because if you've got peak sales, although it's like physical products for you, you've still got to pick and pack those. That means you don't have time to create. But if you've got a sales trough, that means you've got time to create stuff because you're not packing orders. I have the same thing where if I've got fewer people, I'm not teaching as much as when I am, when I've got more people. So, you know, it works a similar way. And of course, there's more admin with more people as well. You have to keep track of your stuff with a 5-person household, husband, 3 kids in different stages and needs themselves. If it were just me, I know for a fact I wouldn't track anything at all. Yeah. I track, honestly, I track more for my dogs than I track for me. And I bet Meg's the same. I bet she tracks more for her cat.
No, not even that.
Not even that, no. You rely on the vet to texting you and going, Fluffy's due for her shots this week. You Need a Budget has been a game changer for my finances. Cool. That sounds fun. I'll never use it, but You Need a Budget. There you go. Timesheets, the enemies of creatives. Absolutely. I think my issue as a creative, and I think Meg will agree with me on here, this, it just feels like too much like work. Because in my head, I associate tracking things and budgeting things and boring stuff like that with admin, and admin is work. And I'm creative and fun and floofy, and I don't do boring stuff, so I don't want to do tracking.
Yeah, I think it's different for me as well, because like this isn't my business, my income, you know, nothing is coming to me from this other than just me being creative. So it's my free time, and I don't want to really put any like rules or restrictions around that. You know, if I sit and do it for 3 hours, great. If I only have 5 minutes, that's fine. Yeah, I think because it's totally detached from like my actual work, it's a far more different approach that I have.
Yeah, I've taken up sewing for that same reason, so that I can actually sit and sew things and it's not to do with work. And I've got to try and keep that away from YouTube and Patreon and everything else, except for going, look what I did, ta-da. Yeah, the admin is Katie's job. If it even smells like admin, it goes to Katie and then she does it. If you ever get a newsletter from me, it didn't come from me. Trying to build a routine, track certain things for the doctor and for the household and improve habits. It's hard to find a way to track that works well. Yeah, I think that's something that needs to be emphasized, I think, is how you understand those words. For me, tracking means I tick it off after the fact. Habit tracking means that I track it at the time I'm doing it, so that I know I'm doing it and I make sure I'm doing it. And I can see that I've already done it when I come back to do it tomorrow. Or when I last did it, like Carrie was talking about with her towels. But routines are something that are set up in advance, that you already know you need to do. You just have to find a time to do it, or pick a time, or do it at the time that you've designated. And that's what I'm trying to aim for. Less habit tracking, less tracking, and more improving my streamlining of what I do by having a few routines. So Monday morning, the first thing I do is sit down with my planner, but I don't really have anything to plan. I just end up writing the same lists over and over again. So having a routine where I hit the ground running on a Monday morning, sit and have my coffee and, you know, whack through those routines and tick them off on a Monday morning, that to me seems like streamlining, because I'll actually be doing the thing instead of just planning to do the thing. Because trust me, given 4 hours to plan, I will take 4 hours to plan. If I've only got 10 minutes to plan, I'll be done in 8. I will fill, what's that thing about, they talk about cats spreading to expand the space they're fitting into? Yeah, I will do the same thing with work. However long I've got to do it, that's how long it'll take. And it'll all be finished at the last minute as well. Question: suggestion for starting a bujo and sticking with it. Starting it, just get started. Sticking with it, I don't know. I stuck with it for a while and then I just went, I can't be bothered. I think it maybe depends on what you want to do and how. Are you still kind of bullet journaling, Carrie, or did you stop?
Yeah, a portion of what's in here is absolutely just rapid logging. The first notebook's all collections. The daily stuff is all rapid logging, but I have a weekly insert. I have to have a weekly insert. I'll forget people everywhere. So, but yeah, definitely. I took a lot from the year we did bullet journal method. I took a lot from that, and I'm still, and kind of a lot of the mindsets too. And it kind of touched on GTD a bit for me too, like that idea of capturing everything. But again, I go more the digital route with that and just, have an idea. Hey, remind me in 2 hours, blah, 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 blah. That stuff eventually ends up in here. So, but yeah, I definitely have some Bujo-ish things going on in here, but it's not a flat out. I don't think Ryder Carroll would look at it and call it a bullet journal.
Yeah, well, I used to say I bullet journaled, but I didn't bullet journal like he did. I didn't do the creative bullet journaling. I did the bog standard write it down rapid logging, but it really did end up more to-do lists than anything else, because the vast majority of my notes and collections I already had separate notebooks for, because nothing drives me more insane than having to root through several notebooks to find something that I made notes on before. So if it was astrology notes, it went in my astrology planner. If it was tarot notes, it went in my tarot book. If it was art stuff, it was in a sketchbook somewhere. I didn't like the idea of just having one single notebook that everything was in, because I fill up a notebook really fast. So the expanded moleskin is the one that lasted me the most time, and that lasted me 4 months. And that's not enough time to be able to go back and review what you're doing and looking at things. Is your sun sign in the 5th house? Because I feel like the same. No, but I do have Leo in my 5th house, and Leo dances to its own tune, really. Could build a habit for months and then just not do it one day. That's exactly I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. I said that to my class. My patrons will back me up on this. I said exactly the same thing. Even if I built a habit for 28 days or 3 months, and I got to the point where I did it every single day and tracked it every single day, and every single day I remembered to do it, one day I'd get up and go, yeah, I can't be bothered, and I'd just never do it again. I can form bad habits, but good ones. I think in terms of the bullet journal, unless Mimi's got anything to add specifically to that, although I don't think you really bullet journal, do you, Mimi? You never really took to it, did you?
It used to be all I ever did. And this is what I was looking at this morning, thinking, I want to move back in here.
So you might be moving back into bullet journaling. There we go. So follow Mimi. She might be looking back at that, but really I think the bullet journaler among us is Vicky, isn't it? Vicky's been bullet journaling since the day that video hit YouTube. She was the first. In fact, she sent it to me and Carrie and said, look at this, this is amazing. And we went, yeah, it's just to-do lists. It took her a while to convince us.
And I love the idea of having everything all in one book. I'm kind of the opposite of you, because
I like the idea, but the trouble is to have it for any meaningful length of time. My book would have to be the size of a family Bible.
Right.
That's my issue.
There we go.
Here she is. She's come
sorry,
at the right time. Let Mimi finish what she was saying. What's one second, because we've got a bullet journal question for you.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's just, I know that everything is in the one book, and I can just turn the page and put whatever kind of notes I need to. There's no structure at all. And I know that even though I love all the digital stuff, I think on paper. And that's the thing. I have to have paper, because when I'm thinking and trying to work things out, I have to have paper and a pen to do that. So.
Yeah, I think better on paper too. I'm with you on that. Even if it's only a post-it note or a scrap from the printer,
right?
It's the recycling bin. Sometimes if I need to figure something out, I need to do it with a pen in my hand. it's not going to get figured out any other way.
Right.
Okay, we've got 2 questions from Miss Vicky B, who has joined us.
Yes.
That's you
Sorry.
to,
Yes.
drop in. It's fine. We've done fine without you, but you come in just
sure.
at the right time. Somebody said, "What do you have any suggestions for starting a bullet journal and sticking with it?" And immediately afterwards, someone else has asked, "How do you fight the urge to be in all sizes, different and new planners?" And I know your answer to that would be don't. So I'm going to hand both of those questions over to you, Vicky.
I mean, I think these are tricky because we're folks who enjoy being in different sizes, right? We're inundated with a lot of information. We are inundated with a lot of new planners, lots of new notebooks, lots of new systems. And it's hard. It's hard to say no. And it's also part of the process, I think, of moving forward also, and enjoying the hobby almost, right? Because we're not just your average like planner person, you know, we're not an average person who just picks up one planner and you're content with it. It's something that we put a lot of time and energy and passion into. And so like stunting yourself and not allowing yourself to grow with it, it's kind of taking away from the pleasure of enjoying the community and enjoying everything that you have in there. So my one thing is to always have your one like mothership planner. And that's like, a system that's worked for you. And if you still don't know the system that works for you, then this is the month in one book, July, to find that system that's going to work for you. And I think something that we've been trying for years, myself and Ro and Carrie, we've all been trying to really share that your system is going to be that core. So I think there's some confusion with that word on the system. It's not the like Erin Condren system or the Franklin Covey, like it's the meat and the potatoes. It's that like what works for you, the monthly planning, the weekly planning, the daily planning. What is that core system that works for you? It doesn't matter the binder or the notebook or anything else that you're using. It has to be the actual like system, the meat and the potatoes that has to work for you. And you have to have that one mothership always, or things will start falling through the cracks. As you kind of play around with things, you're going to lose what you're planning for, right? You're going to either lose an event, you're going to lose like a project you were working on, you're going to lose something.
A child in Carrie's case.
Yes. Or a child gets misplaced, or a child doesn't go to something or whatever. And you're going to grow frustrated and you're gonna be like, planning doesn't work for me. So you have to have a mothership like I do. I mean, I for years have tested out planners like all the time, come up onto my doorstep, and I'm playing around with them and trying out different things. But I always have that one core that I always turn to that I know that works for me. And the one that works for me always is well, I shouldn't say always, because I guess that evolves kind of too. But you generally have some sort of method that you know works for you, that you kind of time and time again go to. And for me, the bullet journal system has worked tremendously. All last year, that's all I did was use really, for the most part, Ryder Carroll's way of doing it. But what I've done this year is incorporated Franklin Covey into it to give me a little bit more structure with bullet journaling. So I still bullet journal. I just use a little bit more structure in a binder system, because what that allows me to do is to I don't need the index because I didn't use the index. It was something that I felt like I didn't gravitate towards using. But being that I'm somebody who really enjoys having more structure because I have kids, because I'm following a lot of calendar formats, my day really relies a lot heavily on time right now. I needed a little bit more structure, but I still love the creative process of bullet journaling. I still like documenting life. And so a day on 2 pages in Franklin Covey gives me the structure, but also the freedom to really enjoy that system of bullet journaling. So that's like a long-winded, I guess, answer to that question, hopefully, or those questions. I don't know. Did I sort of cover that or not, Ro?
No, I think you covered it perfectly well. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it ties in nicely with what Meg and I were saying right at the beginning, because I've become the anti-planner. Meg has led me down the path of don't plan it, just do it. And I blame her for that completely, but it's actually working for me.
Good. Yeah.
So, you know, our free time is our own and we don't plan it. But for me, when it comes to work planning, the absolute core of my system, if I have to do something at a particular time, I have to have a reminder at least an hour before, or I will never be ready. And I have to have something stuck on the wall right in front of my face with the entire month in front of me. It cannot be anywhere else. It can't be somewhere that ends up in a book that ends up in the bedroom that I have to go and find it if I need it. It's got to be stuck on the wall in front of me. And if there's something really important I must do today, it goes on a post-it note on the front of my screen. Otherwise, it's not getting done. And even then, you know, it's a bit sketchy.
Yeah, but that's highlighting too, Ro, what you're saying is that's your system. That's what works for you. So for folks who are struggling and saying like, I don't know what a system is, that's Ro's system.
That's my system. I have to have something reminding me. Yeah. So I have to have some kind of digital input, even if it's only alarms set on my phone that pop up and go, you've got a teaching session in an hour. It doesn't matter if all the details are there or anything. I can go and find that somewhere else. But I have to have somebody come and remind me, or I'll just drift off into nowhere.
Right. And that's your core. That's what you know. And that's part of that journey too. Like people get so frustrated and let down. You're only going to find your system by trial and error, like anything in life, right? That's the only way you're going to find it. You know, it goes with like anything, like, you know, where people are like, oh, is this what I, you know, a hobby that I like or I don't like? Well, how are you going to know if you don't try it? Like, you know, if you don't try to sew, you'll never know if you like it or not. Or if you don't try to paint, you'll never know if you like it or not. So if you don't try the different systems and then MacGyver them like Ro does, and a lot of us do, you even Carrie, I mean, Carrie's system is all like hers, you know, like I get lost in a lot of her like planner flip throughs because I'm like, wait, what does that tab?
Carrie's system is carry it all in one small notebook and tab all the things. That's Carrie's system.
It is.
Tab everything.
It is.
Tab everything. Yes. Yes, Carrie, that is you. Just tabbing everything. And I'm like, wait, where does that tab? Sometimes I'm like zooming into the screen. I'm like, what does that tab say? What is she following there? Like, but you know, that's your system. It works for you.
Yes.
Yeah, it works. It works. Yeah. Your brain has to follow whatever works. And I think that that's so important for people to know and to realize and be okay with, you know.
I absolutely agree with it. And I think I also agree with that on the creative side as well, because what works for me today in terms of, oh, I just feel like doing a small sketch, great. My little field notes notebook might be great for that. But tomorrow I might feel like doing a whole big ass painting for 4 hours. I'm not going to do that in that tiny little sketchbook. So I have about 9 different sketchbooks at the moment. I'm just having a quick scout round. Yeah, I think I've got about 9, plus my journal. And all of my sketchbooks are different sizes, different types of paper, different orientations. Some are tall, some are short, some are landscape, some are pocket size. Everything is different about every single one of them. I don't have any 2 that are exactly the same, because that's pointless. When I finish one, I buy a new one of that book. But I have lots of different types of things. So whatever I feel like doing today, that's what I use. I don't have any guilt about, oh, I must finish this sketchbook. I'll finish the sketchbook eventually. It'll happen. And I think, Meg, don't you do the same with your junk journals? Do you come back to your junk journals as and when you feel like using that size?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I ended that conversation. Great. Thanks, Meg.
Sorry. You just summed it up so well, Ro. I had nothing else to add.
Well, you know. Oh, One Book July creativity. Well, it's all creativity. And, you know, particularly since we've brought Meg on board, creativity is part of One Book July now. If your One Book July is creativity and journaling instead of planning, that's totally fine. You know, not everybody plans. And that was one of the main reasons we decided to bring Megan in, because although Vicky, Carrie and myself are all creative as well, and Mimi to a certain extent, I mean, she creates digital stuff, but we also plan, and Meg just doesn't. She is 100% creative. I plan as and when I feel like it. Vicky plans and journals everything. So
yeah,
we've got a nice mix across the board of people who do or don't do different things. Your problem is that you want to be in all the sizes all the time doing all the things. But you haven't got enough time in the day. Yeah, tell me about it.
I think that's okay too. I do that too. I have a million planners. Hello, I have an entire room of planners.
Nikki no longer knows how many exactly planners or journals she has on the go at any one time. All she knows is that everything goes on the mothership.
Yes, I always have that one mothership. Always have that one mothership. The rest are like I just did this huge thing before coming on here. Well, my son had a thing going on, but prior to, I had this like big PR package from Erin Condren, which, I haven't heard or had that on my doorstep in years. And then, now I've got this huge thing and it's all cute stuff. And I'm like, God damn it. Now I need to use another.
Just move in and set it up straight away.
Yes. I'm like, and I got to set that up and like have fun, and now I got another one. Now I'm going to do that, so, but I mean, it's part of the hobby. That's what we love, right? We love that. It's like, you can't have enough. You just can't have enough because we all love it.
Digital calendar ideas. A busy mom that keeps everything digital. Well, I use Google Calendar. I'm not a busy mom, but I am a busy person. Everything goes on Google Calendar. If it needs a link to a task, it goes in Google Keep. I do everything through Google. I'm an Apple girl, but I do everything through Google because their system works better and it works on Android and it works on the computer. So Google everything. It all goes in there. If Google doesn't know about it, it's not happening, basically. And Katie, as my admin, knows that if she needs me to do something by a particular day, the best thing she can do instead of telling me that she needs me to do it is to just put an appointment in my calendar for like 2 days before, saying, I need you to do this some point in the next 2 days. And I'll go, okay. And I'll move the appointment to where I think I can fit it in, and then I'll do it. Because otherwise it's not going to get done. Carrie, how do you manage not to lose a child by knowing where everything is on a digital calendar?
You know what? I've never, and I always hesitate to say this because the second I say it, it's going to happen. I have never forgotten a kid anywhere. And the oldest is 24. So he's not a kid anymore. But I have never, and I know now it's going to happen now that I've said it. But so knock wood, I will not lose a kid. We all have, it's Google Calendar, iCal. We use the Fantastical app, and everybody dumps their calendars into the Fantastical app. So you can turn on, like the clinic schedule is on there. Mike's clinic schedule right now is only maybe 2 or 3 months of the year because he's got hockey the other 9-10 months of the year. So I can turn that calendar off and I don't have to see a whole list of names populating the day. The kids don't have to see a whole list of names. They turn it all off, then everything's private. So I can turn on and turn off the kids' work schedules. I'm sharing my car with 2 of the kids right now. So that's a little chaotic. So we need to be able to toggle on and off each other's calendars and really see who needs to be where when. I also dump my tasks into there. And I don't know, Mimi, if you have an opinion on this or not, because Laura Hutchinson, How to GYST, she has an opinion as to keeping your appointments and your tasks together. And I digitally always do that. On paper, I always do that. And I've seen a lot of people say, don't do that. Keep all of your appointments, the kids' work schedules, who's driving who, where, when, who's dropping who off, who's picking who up, blah, 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 completely separate from the task schedule. And I know what's that?
Why?
A lot of people say it's because then your mind begins to look at appointments as tasks and tasks as appointments. And if you have an aversion to either appointments or tasks, that kind of encourages you to not get those things done.
I don't agree.
Like that. You don't either?
I don't agree.
That makes me feel better.
I can understand that from a point of overwhelm. Like if you're looking at your calendar and all you can see is blocks of color, that could be overwhelming. But I don't understand the point of keeping them separate. No.
Yeah.
No, because to me, tasks take up a certain amount of time each day, just the way your appointments and events and everything do. You have to see what all is you need to do that day.
Exactly. And I know, like, I'm sure a lot of you, for whatever reason, can relate. Like, I live a life of interruptions. I say it all the time. So I need to see when I'm getting back in the car, when I'm getting out of the car, da, 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 da. And I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, that we're able to leave the house again and we're careful, but we have a life outside of the house again. I'm grateful for that, but I'm very overwhelmed by it right now because I wasn't ready. So I need to see those tasks listed with the appointments so I can shuttle those things in because I constantly get interrupted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use Calendgoo, and it syncs with my Google Calendar and Google Task. So it pulls everything, and I have everything together, all my tasks, any appointments. I even pull the weather in, everything. It goes in there. And it also syncs with Evernote. But I don't use Evernote anymore, but it was real convenient when I was using it, where you could link notes from Evernote and put them as events in here too, set up reminders, all of that. So all of my tasks are with my events every day in here.
I actually have my events, my timed appointments and things like that, stuff that where I have to go and do something at a particular time, set up in Google Calendar. My tasks could be anywhere, pick a post-it note or an app, I have no idea. But mostly they end up in Google Keep. And rather than trying to bring that all into yet another app, I use the dashboard on my phone. So I've got an iPhone, and when you swipe left, you've got all the dashboard apps there that you can add. And I just have all my different calendars and stuff set up there. So I can go to that at any given time and go, okay, what else have I got on today? And that shows me both stuff that I think I need to do at some point that's not scheduled for today, stuff that is in my calendar, and other stuff that Katie said, you need to do this at some point. And I can just pick and choose from the list. So that's another way of doing it. It's just use if you're already doing it digitally, just use whatever you're using and have a dashboard that shows you everything in one go as well. I think that seems to be it so far for questions. Anybody got, Vicky, you were late. It's all right, we know you were late.
Sorry.
You didn't get a chance to say what you were doing this year. We just did a quick overview of what we're all doing this year. So what are you concentrating on?
So this year, because you said habits and tracking, I wanted to dive deep and get a better understanding of the reason behind it. Why in the world do we even want to track anything or even set up goals for ourselves? And in that journey, I stumbled upon the Heroes Journal, which was a Kickstarter campaign a few years ago. And I was fascinated by those guys because they loved the idea, I shouldn't say they loved the idea. They took from inspiration from Joseph Campbell's, I think 1,000 Faces of Heroes is the book that they were inspired by, and also the Hero's Journey book by Joseph Campbell, to create this journal that helps you use yourself as a character in your own story. So your life is your story, you're the character. And they kind of used the Lord of the Rings as an example, or any kind of other real storytelling where you've got the good guy setting out on a quest and, learning something and then bringing back that information to their people, back to the village. And so they've set this journal up to basically be a way to have gratitude and also set up steps to set your day forward so that you're achieving your goals and tracking these goals or these habits or whatever you want to kind of incorporate a new routine, whatever you're doing in your life. And so in this quest of trying to dive deep to figure out what we should be tracking, what we are tracking, I'm doing like a read along. So I'm doing like a book live every Sunday night over on my Patreon. I'll log in and we talk about the, every week we're going to read about 77 pages or so, like about 3 or 4 chapters in the book, and discussing like Joseph Campbell's deep dive because of that, like kind of journal that we're going to be using in conjunction with the read. So I'm kind of like trying to figure out what it is that he's incorporated and why these people who created the journal were inspired by him. So far, what I've gained is that he uses a lot of mythology and incorporates that into life. That's all I've gotten so far. So I'm very intrigued, but also kind of like, like scratching my head a lot. I don't understand a lot of it either. But I'm kind of interested.
Fascinating, especially from a gaming point of view. All the gamers in the room went,
yes. Yeah, it's really cool. It is very cool. If you follow like their Kickstarter campaign, or those guys actually do a live like Tuesday, I think every Tuesday they have like a coffee chat and they discuss the journal. It's called the Heroes Journal. And it's like, it was a Kickstarter campaign. Now they have a website, and it's really, I actually reached out to them to see if they wanted to do the One Book July challenge with us, but I didn't hear back from them. Because I thought it was kind of
organized enough.
Yeah, I mean, it goes with like their theme, with the habit tracking and stuff, but they never respond. I didn't hear back from them.
Funnily enough, that reminds me of a habit tracker that I used to use. I think it's only available on Android, and that's why I don't use it anymore, because when I went to iPhone, I couldn't find it. I can't remember what it's called. It's got habit in the title, but it's basically set up like a little game where you and your friends can score points and level up by doing your to-do lists. It's really cool. I'll have to find out where it is, if it's still around and what it's called. I can't for the life of me remember. Do you remember, Mimi? Do you remember it? The only thing I remember is that the little icon, you used to get new outfits every time you leveled up, and you could change your outfit. So according to your little outfit, you wore different colors to show how high a level you are. Habitica! Thank you, Katie. Of course I should have asked Katie, my fellow gamer. Habitica. It's really fun if you like that kind of silly thing, especially if you're maybe doing like, I could see it working for like creative challenges, like keeping up with those everyday challenges that you're doing, where you basically get a group of friends together and go, okay, let's see if we can get X many points. And you set a challenge number for the whole team that everybody does at least 20 or something, and you see it as a team, you can all do it and make it fun. And I think that can help. I got really into it. The problem I had was that I spent being an addicted gamer. I don't game anymore. The only thing I play is Animal Crossing, and even that I have to ration myself, because I can just sit and game all day, every day for the next 3 months. That's why I don't use TikTok either. Same thing. I can't get on Twitch. I have to stay away from Twitch. I would never come off. But I can get addicted to things like that. And what I found with it was that I spent so much time just adding things that I could do to gain points to level up, that I spent so much time in the app, I wasn't actually getting anything done. And it's weird because I was getting things done, but I was only doing them so that I could get points in the game. I wasn't doing them because I needed to do them, if that makes sense. Kind of like what Meg was talking about earlier, we don't track washing up because we don't care if the washing up gets done today or not, because it's not that important to us. We're single women, we don't need it. If we need a dish, we'll go and wash one. But I was finding myself doing the washing up every single day, 3 times a day, so I could get that 1 point that would push me over the edge to the next level, and it was waste of time because I don't need to wash up 3 times a day. I only use 1 coffee cup for the whole day. I just wash it every time I go and make another cup of coffee. There's no point in doing the washing up 3 times a day for me, and I don't care if I do the washing up 3 times a day or once every 3 days. As long as nothing smells, I'm fine. So yeah, I found it kind of sucked you in and became too much fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun. So the Heroes Journal that I got a digital version of it too, and so I have it on my iPad, and it's really cute. It has like the little storytelling, so you can color it. The little habit trackers, adorable. I mean, there's so much cute stuff.
And that would suck me in. That would be another time sink for me.
My next video, I'm gonna do a flip through, and I'm gonna show the digital on YouTube. I'm gonna post it because I already did it on my Patreon. They've seen it, but I'm gonna do like a flip through of the journal.
That would be cool. I'd love to see it.
It's very cute. It is very.
I can see it being something that I would get addicted to, and everything else would fall by the wayside. Or I would go so full in on it for a short amount of time, burn out on it, and never touch it again.
Yes,
that's the other option.
I that too. Well, that's why I'm hoping that if I do,
I believe we call it Animal Crossing syndrome now.
Absolutely. But I think if I'm trying to do that deep dive, that reading to really get a better understanding. Cause I always feel like I stick to things if I know the science behind it. Like if I know there's a reason to do this, like there's something effective or there's a different way to approach it or something like that, I feel like I might stick to it a little more so than just being like, oh, it's a pretty tracker. And this is what I spent all this time doing it. So I'm going to track. To me, that's what falls by the wayside is stuff like that, where it's beautiful for 1 second and I'm like, drawn to it like squirrel. And then I go to it and then I'm like, nah.
Oh, shiny.
Yeah, shiny. Oh, pretty new. And then I walk away from it. I want something that I can stay committed to, and get like that. So that's what I'm hoping to bring.
I like the idea of it, but I think for me it would be a slippery slope down a very short, steep hill. I'll take a look at it though. I think it sounds intriguing, like you say.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my video. I'm gonna film that. That'll be my next one over on
just
YouTube.
Before we close up, I think something that would be worth asking about, because we've already touched on it a couple of times, and I'm particularly interested in what Meg will say to this, because my answer is I don't. How do you track long-term goals, things that you're aiming to achieve over a long period of time? My answer is I don't have goals. No goals, no need to track. Boom, I'm done. Next.
I guess it depends what it is. So like for me, a long-term goal we've got at the minute is we want to buy a house. That's absolutely massive. So we've kind of got like a little bit of a checklist going of the steps we know we will need to take for that. So I think the same principle just applies for any long-term goal, is to just break it down into manageable steps. So it's like, rather than going from here to moving day, it's from here to what is the next step we need to do, and just get to that little short-term goal that moves you towards the long-term goal, and being able to
so you're looking at it more in terms of, perhaps we want to buy a house, one of those things we need to do is get a mortgage. To get a mortgage we need to do this and this, and one of those things is life insurance, and to get life insurance we need to do this. So then you've kind of brought it down to, right, I need to get all my paperwork in order to know how much I earn a month, and so on. Is that what you mean?
But the same could even be just like, if you want to do journaling as a long-term thing, it's like, right, you need to maybe work out which size you like the best, or you need to work out which mediums that you like, what do you enjoy using, and it's all kind of like little things, rather than just throwing yourself straight at the main goal of I'm going to be doing this every single day, blah blah blah. It's like taking those little baby steps. And I guess if you're one of those people that likes to track things and write them down, then by all means, but I tend to keep a little bit of it in my head normally.
It's all in my head and it's ruled by a different squirrel. All I have to do is get all the squirrels in the same circle at the same time to do with that one thing. That can take a while, but in theory it works. I agree with you on the creativity part of that, definitely. And if anybody is looking to journal, I've got a tip for you. Get yourself an old magazine. Magazines are a standard size. Just get an old magazine. Nothing with too shiny paper, nothing too thick, just an old magazine. Use it as a junk journal base, and every day use a different size paper for your journal. So if you want to try an A6, use an A6 piece of paper, or use 2 A6 pieces of paper for 2 days or whatever, and those 2 days stick that into the magazine. Paint the pages if you want to or whatever, but just stick those pages in that magazine. Next day, maybe you want to try A4, and over a period of a month, you can try lots of papers, lots of sizes, lots of styles, throw it all in as a junk journal, and at the end of the month you've got a nice book finished. And if you go, you know what, none of this is for me, actually, I don't want to do it, I want to do something completely different, I'm going to take up knitting, that's fine. You've got a nice book, chuck it in the corner and you're done. That is a really good way of doing it. So go and join Meg's junk journal challenge and have a go and just see what you like. Maybe you'll find you enjoy watercoloring but you don't enjoy writing, or you enjoy writing but you don't enjoy cutting and pasting, or you only like collaging and you only like collaging on small pieces of paper. That's fine. Go and try it and see what works and what doesn't, and just try it for a month and see how it goes and make that your one book. can we just take a second to look at that gorgeous little lump of Teddy? Look at him. He's so cute.
Isn't he so adorable? I mean, I've fallen so in love with him because he's so sweet and so loving. I never had a Yorkie, so I had a Chihuahua, and then Hanky was a German Shepherd. And then Max is here somewhere. He's more of like the family dog, though. I'd say Max is more like, wherever the
Max
kids
is
are.
doodle, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a golden doodle. So he's kind of like wherever everyone else is. But Teddy is like my mini Hank. He's like that little version. Very needy, very cute, very loving, but he can't swim. So I had the kids. I had like a
get him a little life jacket.
Oh my God, I know. I have to get him one, Rose. So yesterday I had like a little
life jacket, a little handle on the top so you can hook him out.
Yes, he sinks. He goes straight down. He doesn't even move his feet. I know. Max pushed him in by mistake yesterday, and he sank like a rock. He went straight to the bottom. He doesn't even move. He's just, it was so sad. And he came out, he was all wet. He was all sad. Oh, here's Maxie. Maxie's coming to say hi too. Come here, Max. Come say hi. Come up here. Come here, you big lug. Come here. This is supposed to be a mini.
Max. Doodle. Gosh, he got big.
Max. So he was supposed to be a mini.
Yeah, he's not a mini.
But he's super cute and super sweet and good with the kids. He's just not like as neat. Oh, and there's George.
Hi, George.
So talk about like constant interruption all the time. Just constant interruptions all day from dogs, children, everybody.
I have trouble with Maddie moaning at me all the time. At the moment, I don't even know what she wants, but I'm like, for God's sake, just tell me what you want.
Yeah.
She can, obviously, but I don't think she knows what she wants. She's just moaning. Okay then. Thanks for that contribution, George. I agree with you there. Okay, so on that note, shall we wrap it up for the day? Thanks, guys, for joining us. I hope it's been useful to have us do a bit of a Q&A and go through some specifics with you of what you wanted. It might be worth us doing another one of these towards the end of the month when people have got more experience of what they've been trying to do, and we've actually done some stuff that we've been trying to do, and perhaps then we can come back and just do a short one for like an hour or so of odd bits and pieces that people have maybe run into issues or want more advice going forward or stuff like that. Perhaps we could do that, girls. Or we could perhaps even break it up so we've got, because it's trying to get 5 people on the same Zoom call all at the same time when half of them are in America and half of them are in the UK is like herding cats in a spin dryer. It was entertaining to say the least. But maybe we can split it up and have the American girls do one, and then me and Meg can do one, and that might be a bit easier to organise. So we've only got 2 time zones to worry about. Yeah, so we might come back to you at the end of the month. If you've got more questions or anything like that, or questions for a specific person, by all means, leave them down below in the comments, and we'll all keep an eye on the comments and we'll come back in and answer your questions as we see fit, if we remember. And thereby hangs the tale of the month, really. We'll try and remember. One of us will put it on a to-do list, and in about 3 weeks' time, Vicky will go, did anybody actually go back and check the questions on that video? me and Carrie will go, what video? That's usually how it works. Okay, thanks, guys, and see you again shortly, I hope. Who's got a video coming out soon? I know Meg's got a video coming out soon, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I'm going to do a 1 week check-in just to sort of see how things have been going, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So keep an eye out for Meg.
I'll
Vicky,
have one on the Heroes Journal coming up, just to show what it looks like digitally and what the actual physical journal looks like. That'll be my next one. I think I'm filming that one today, and then that should go up really soon. And then I'll do a follow-up, and then I'm going to do, I had 2 books. I had Future Boards is what it's called, and then that Joseph Campbell book. So I'm going to do like a little recap on that guy. And then I have a planner flip through also up already on there for my current planner flip through.
Hashtag Vicky's the only organized one. Carrie, what have you got coming up?
Atomic Habits week 2 video should go up by Sunday, and that will be Law 1 and Law 2. That's what we're going over. So it's kind of the second quarter of the book, basically. And I think next week I'll do like an updated flip in here too, because I just posted the setup of that. So
great. I have no idea when mine's going up.
What leather is that, Carrie? Where is that from? I saw that. What is that?
The sheep sparrow.
March hair.
Beautiful.
Sheep sparrow.
Isn't it? It's so pretty. I love this color. My husband's like, that is the lightest notebook you own. It looks just like it. Like it does.
Almost as pale as you, yeah.
I make no melanin whatsoever. So
yeah, you've caught the sun and your planner hasn't.
I really have. It's not pretty. And you know what? I don't want to do this. We have a tornado warning. And one of my boys is a counselor at camp, and they finally got all the kids sent home. So I'm gonna have to leave early and go get him.
Oh my God. Wait, is that in are you okay? You're down the way, Carrie. You're not far.
Yeah, I think it's coming toward you, honey.
What? There's sun.
It's coming past
right now.
You, I think.
Yeah, it's been rumbling, and
we know what your weather's like, Vicky. What you look out the window, you post pictures on Instagram going, look at all this beautiful sunshine we've got, and then 10 minutes later you're like, look at all this 2 inches of snow we've got.
Yes, it's a total lie.
That's what we get here. It's just not normal. You know,
there's 10 minutes later, whatever you said was a total lie 10 minutes before. I totally know. I mean, and you kind of knew it was coming, but he texted me right as we were starting. He's like, hey, there's a tornado warning out here. We're sending kids home. I'll let you know when I'm done, which means I just have to go when he's done.
Meanwhile, me and Meg in the north of England have got monsoons of biblical proportions waking us up every night.
Oh my gosh.
It's sunny today, though. Sunny today.
It's sunny today, yeah, but did you hear that rain last night? It was louder than my white noise app.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Mimi, have you got anything planned for coming up? Because I know you're not really planning what you're doing this. Mimi's got other stuff going on in the background that she's trying to organize as well. She's kind of jumbling several things at once, so she hasn't really got a plan this year. But do you have anything that you were thinking of coming up with soon, or?
I was going to wait to see if I was going to actually move into here.
Oh, right. Okay.
For a flip through, but I wanted to get some more data on my app before going over that again. So probably by the end of the week, because
I think, I think for both Carrie and myself, that, and for a couple of other people in chat, that monthly tracker that you have might be worth sharing that on Instagram or something for those of us who are interested in that, even if it's like sharing the different sections of it that you've got. That might give a few people ideas. That might be a good place to.
You're talking about my one page?
Your big 1-page tracker thing that you do for the month.
Yeah.
Because quite a few people were interested in that. I think Vicky would be interested in that too, probably.
Well, I will say that I used to do something real similar to that in my bullet journals. But then last year when I tried out Power Sheets, they have it set up kind of like that too, where you do every month for like your monthly, weekly, and daily, and you pull it out of the planner and take it with you everywhere or put it wherever you want it. It's kind of the same concept. So
you've actually just literally given me an idea on how I could track my stuff without tracking my stuff. Because I use Trello for my classes.
Oh, mm-hmm.
It's like a big post-it board. Just imagine a big wall of corkboard with post-its for everything, and you can organize it by columns and rows like you can on Excel, and you can put dates and times and things like that, and everything I do goes on those Trello cards. And I'm just thinking, you know what, I could track it by Trello card.
And you know that you can send all that to your Google Calendar too. Did you know that?
Because I sync Google to Zoom. I set everything up in Google and it syncs to Zoom.
If you do some IFTTT, then you can send, or you can actually you can put your Trello boards on your Google Calendar.
Oh, that would save me a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It's you can get it.
And that's
Trello.
through if this, then that, is it?
No, actually, if you go into Trello and you look at the calendar view of it, it should give you a link to that calendar.
Oh, I've got the
And then
calendar
you-
view. I haven't
and
got it
then-
linked to my Google Calendar though.
Yeah, you
I
just
didn't know
put that
you could do
in.
that.
You add it as a calendar in Google.
Huh. You might just have solved my problem. I'll have a play. Hashtag, I'll get Katie to have a play and tell me if it works, and then I'll play with it. That's how stuff works here. Right. Anybody got anything else they want to add? No? All right then. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks, team, and Carrie, who's had to nip off, for taking the time out of your days to come and squeeze this in. It's not easy getting all 5 of us in one room at the same time. Hopefully we can do something similar towards the end of the month to wrap this up. And good luck, everybody, with what you're trying to do. And I hope you at least learn something this month. And remember, if you don't learn anything this month, at least you've tried. If all you learn is what doesn't work, then that's a start, right? Chuck that out. Don't use it again. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.